Hello, everyone, and welcome to a new episode of the Manu's Podcast. This is one of the last ones of 2022. Um, what is this about? This is a podcast where we basically try to explore new ideas, sort of go a little bit deeper into some stuff, and I sort of touch different kind of topics, arguments, and I just give some sort of hints on how to go through some stuff. And I don't think I'm right, fully right, but my intention is to give some sort of different ideas than what we usually hear from around the place. I'm always been very alternative, and so that's why my ideas tend to be much different than what most people out there think. So what is gonna be today? What sort of topic? So I tend to come up with something on the spot, or maybe I have an idea that I have some sort of time, and then I sort of rearrange the idea in my head so that it's very easy to be absorbed from others. And I think I had this topic in mind for some time, and it was like, how do I properly explore it or discuss it? Because it's very tough. It's a very tough topic, the one that I want to sort of introduce, and I cannot really explain everything of that I think I know. So today's topic is, who are we? And this is a question that is sort of haunts all of us, sort of forever. Like, do we truly know who we are? Ever? And imagine that in one point you sort of understand it. You understand everything of yourself, how you work, how you think, who you are, who do you perceive yourself as, what sort of feelings sort of push you in what direction, what choices you make, and sort of you have it clear. And then let's assume that you have something happens in your life, something that could be seen as a traumatic. Well, what happens is that you change from that point of view, and since the mind and the brain is a complex thing, it's not easy to understand what is the consequence of what happened, the traumatic experience. It might be not even traumatic, it might be an experience that sort of opens up a new something in your head. So do you know at that point who you are? Or have you a different kind of person? And if you don't know who you are anymore, how do you explore that? How do you, what do you do? So in fact, I think it's not really that important for me to sort of get there, to get exactly who are we. But what is because everyone has to do it in a different way, but what is important for me, and what's probably the only thing that I can do for, is give the some indications or some ideas on how to discover yourself sort of continuously. And then you sort of keep doing it. Then you probably got to the point that, okay, I'm pretty sure that I know who I am, but then if something happens and a new experience comes in, you change as a result. Well, you still go and get back to who you are. You sort of chase this concept of you. So and I thought about it, how can I sort of discover who I am? And the moment I tell how, or I say possible ways to discover who I am, is also possible ways that other people can do the same. And so, maybe I can help you discovering who you are, and I can sort of reply to the question, who are we, or who are you, can help you understanding who are you by just sort of indicating how I did discover myself, and I'm still discovering myself, and I think I can get there. I think it's kind of pointless to tell others who do you think I am, because it's not really clear. It's not probably never clear. Every day you have experiences, so you keep changing in some ways. So let's go directly to different ways on how we can discover ourselves. So once we understood that there is sort of impossibility for me to tell you who you are, and it's also there is a sort of impossibility for you to properly and fully understand who you are yourself, because of experiences that happen, and we change. That's what it is. I can give you the solution. I don't know the solution. I can give you who you are, but at that point, the next day, something happens. You might be a different person already. So it's all about the chasing and sort of continuously trying to understand. So what we can do. So I think there are two possible ways to look into who we are, and you can do one, you can do the other, or you can do both. It's actually choice. And it's interesting because which one you go first, or which one you choose, sort of tells you what sort of person you are too. It's all very interesting. Like, there is a lot of thing that you do in the thing. So I think that the two ways are, there is one way which is more introvert, and there is one which is more extrovert. So the introvert one is just an introspective look of who you are, and the other one is an external way of looking to who you are. So let's start from the introspective one, because it's not easy to do. It's easy to say, but it's very difficult to do. So why is it difficult to do? Well, let me tell you what it is. So the first thing is to understand who we are somehow internally and that's what I thought. Okay, let's try to understand what's the common motive that push you to do what you do and to act. And in order to do so, you have to basically remove everything from around you that is moving around you, let's say. So maybe you want to be in your room, laying on your bed, and do nothing. That is going to remove any possible sort of experience that it can happen around you. So there are no people that are interacting with you. There is no, I would say, you limit the amount of sound, or you limit the amount of, things that are moving around you that create experiences, and you concentrate to the only experience of hearing, listening, and feeling your body and yourself. So this is external factors. So now once you are on your bed, we have to also remove other stuff. We have to remove memories and thinking. So you cannot do it right now. Just try to remember what things you might want to do. So what you want to do when you're laying on the bed, just not think. And this is extremely difficult, because remember, the brain is a machine that it's made to think basically all the time. Even when we dream, we are not thinking, but it's still working. It does some stuff. So the moment you go to the bed and you try, okay, let's not think, it's extremely difficult. You're not gonna be able to probably do that easily. You really have to be silent. And if you're doing it right now, I'm sorry, you're thinking. You're probably thinking. But what is gonna happen is that you're gonna think. So try to, and this is difficult, remove all this thinking all the memories that what happened yesterday. Your boss is a dick, we know. Your friend, oh my god, he did that thing, really? What the hell? What did he had in his mind? Just don't think about that. Let's start to give away all these thoughts. Don't think. So now that you don't think, you're not thinking, I want you have a perception or feeling of what you're feeling right now. What do you have? What is inside you that is doing something? And you're probably gonna feel some stuff. So the typical ones would be more physical ones. You might feel some sounds, you might feel you're cold, you're warm, you might be some hot, the smell. And the moments that I said these words, you're probably gonna feel those things in the order that I said. So right now we want to go a little bit more deeper, and what we want to understand is, what are you feeling in a deeper manner? And what we want to feel, what we are looking for is, what is the main feeling that we have around us? Might be a feeling of, some sort of more negative feeling, might be a positive feeling of happiness, loneliness, anxiety, fear. Try to have a perception of what is going on in there. Happiness. So I'm probably giving you 10 seconds to have a look at it. Even right now, maybe you have so many external factors, but let's have 10 seconds to see what you can do. And yeah, so 10 seconds have passed. So from this moment, what you're gonna feel or might have a perception is that there might be some feelings and you might have some stuff. So just keep in mind that at this moment, what we did is removing every single external factors, people, movement, objects, experiences from the equation. We removed every physical feeling that we could have. We sort of try to understand what's the core feelings that we have inside of ourselves. So just remember that stuff that you perceived, it's always there. It's always there. It's always something, a sort of feeling, underlying feeling of a lot of things that we do. And it's somehow since we are feeling machines, we are gonna make decisions based on what we perceive at the base. So we try to scratch the surface of what we're feeling deeper inside. There is obviously much more to feel, to understand, but understanding the basics of that, it's understanding the base of a lot of our actions that we do, and sort of understanding somehow who we are. So this is like an introspective search, that we are, and it's in fact a lot of you could probably find a lot of resemblance to meditation, for example. So meditation sort of does that. Also mine, it's the idea behind is tend to be meditative, but as you can see, I sort of try to pinpoint why we are doing it. We are doing it because we want to find a base on how we make decisions. So what is pushing us in which direction, what sort of feelings makes us do some decision. So this is an introspective way to understand who we are and what is the main motive of a lot of things that we do. But then there is another one, which is the more, let's say, it goes to the external way. And how does it work? Well, so in this case, we actually want to do the opposite. Instead of not having experiences, we want to go out there and have as many experiences as we can in a shorter amount of time. So the best moment to do so is to actually go on holiday for like 1 or 2 weeks. And in these holidays, what you're gonna do is to do as many things as you can, meet as many people as you can. And then it's very important that you do that, and you sort of try to change things around you as much as you can. It should be a prolonged amount of time. You can do it actually in multiple sessions, like you then do 1 week here, then try to remember the stuff, 1 week there, maybe a month later, and just remember the stuff. And then once you have it, all those experiences, try to remember all of them, or remember the main things around them, what you feel, how people perceived you, or things like that. So now let's look at what happened. So let's imagine that you did this week of holiday, you did all the crazy things that you wanted to do, or maybe you didn't do any of the crazy things that you wanted to do, but you changed things, you went out of your way, you changed things around you as much as you can, in the way that you wanted. It's very important. So you never have to feel like pushed to do things that you don't want. You should always feel a positive push to do things that you feel like you should be doing somehow, that you would like to do, and you've always felt that there is a wall, and then you sort of, what we want is sort of to go around the wall a bit. We don't really want to crash down the wall. That wall is there for a reason. Most of the times it's there to protect us, but at times it sort of actually pushes us back. It doesn't ever let us go forward. So that's why we want to understand what the hell is happening. We want to do as many experiences as we can to sort of go around that wall. And then once we understood properly that wall, we want to make it go down by himself. There is gonna be another wall, but so I actually, by explaining this, I think I just got the idea out of there. So what we want to do is to do as many experiences as we can to sort of understand what are our limits. One. And also I want you to understand that in these experiences you probably met different kind of people, you had different kind of experiences, and I want you to think about that among all of that happened, it was positive or it was negative, or it was not so and so, not so satisfied, we're not that satisfied of having that experience. I want to think that you were the common denominator in all of that. And so if you had if you had or you tended to have more negative experiences, just think about that. Those negative experiences came from you as your perspective of it. So your perspective is that you did what you wanted to do and you get a negative perception of it. And so that might not be true, first of all. And this sort of thinking about, or acting on doing as many things as you can, and then sort of perceiving them, understanding them, and later having a thought about what really happened, sort of let us understanding a little bit better who we are. So you have the question, who am I? You're like, okay, let's do as many things as I can, and then I'm gonna think about them. I'm gonna do all the things that I'm comfortable doing, then I try to push them a little bit further, okay, and then see what happened. Was it positive? Was it negative? Was it like? And if you met many people and you never really have a nice interaction to any of them, for example, then think about, okay, but that's the common denominator of so many people around me were me. So maybe that's me, that it has some problems interacting with them. And in there, you sort of try to get an understanding of your perception of things. Maybe you have negative experiences and with people, and you're like, oh, most of them are actually assholes, what the hell. And maybe it's actually your perception of the situation, and that in turn will sort of indicate that you have some negative feelings around inside and deeper that are sort of dictating choices and also perspective of the world that tend to be negative. So I think now you understand where I'm getting at, is that since all these, what we are, it's, it's also depends on what we feel on a lot of things inside us. The perception that other people have of us and experiences will have of us, let's put it in this way, will appear to us in some ways, and that is an indication, can be seen as an indication of an understanding what we are actually. So I have a very clear the distinction with people. With people is very easy, because if you are very negative towards people will avoid you, and your perception of this situation is that people are all assholes with me, for example. If you are very positive, instead the opposite happens. You have always people around you, and but then the thing is that this is all a consequence of what you are inside, what you have inside, and somehow who you are. And so I'm gonna get to the bottom of this, okay? I hope that it was kind of clear in what I was doing here. So just to summarize, everyone has this question: who am I? What am I doing? And people go from being a teenager to being in your 20s, finally be independent. Then you go in your 30s and you're like, man, I'm so fucked up. Basically all of us go through that. And so there is always this question, which is like, at times we think we get it, but then we don't think we actually are. And the truth is that we keep changing, so it's very difficult to pinpoint exactly who we are. We just keep moving on. So it's very important to have this constant research of ourselves. And here I was sort of indicating ways that it could be helpful to understand ourselves. This is maybe some sort of understanding what are the basic emotions that are sort of directing us. And emotions tend to be one of the main reasons, or one of the main things that people have so many troubles with. Not understanding their emotions and then sort of having them around and changing their lives so much. And so that is actually a base of who we are in some ways. There is obviously a lot more, and the thing that I'm giving is just keep looking for it. Now, I was indicating a couple of ways to do so, and there is an introspective way and the externalized way. The introspective way will be just to remove everything around you, even your physical feelings of the world, and sort of look inside you what you have. And then that thing that you have inside, okay, it's gonna probably be the thing that is gonna push you to do some sort of decisions, maybe out of fear. Maybe you feel that you are getting too old and you should have a family, and then you just find an asshole and you just try to get with her or with him. This is real stuff that happens at some point. Maybe you're feeling that you're missing out. You're in your 20s and you have COVID for 2 years and you want to party, but you couldn't for 2 years. So the moment that you you have the chance, you want to go out and you destroy yourself. But there is an element of fear in there too, and this making you do a lot of decisions. So congratulations, you are a party person, but the truth is that you're probably more afraid of feeling alone Is it possible? So you see, I'm giving you out ideas on how to interpret different things. So there was the internal one, that the external one, which is basically the opposite. You just do as many external things as possible, and then you sort of think about what the hell happened. Why did I get this instead of that? And instead, if you get what you did, still think about it. It's like, is that what I wanted to get out of this situation, of this experience? And then you sort of understand, people around you will, since they're always different and they've always been different, because that's what the assumption of this experience, what I was saying was, you sort of try to change people around you as much as you can, or maybe situations. How did you react? Did you make a mistake? Did you book the wrong place? How did you react to that? Oh my God, were you late to the flight and you lost it? What did you do? Did you book another flight, or do you get crazy and you start complaining about everyone around the world? So that, this happens. Just go through it. Don't worry about it. And then think about it, how you reacted. You freaked out. People around you are going to be freaked out too. Guess what? And that tends to be negative. So, just go through life and see how it is. And just have life experience in a faster pace than usual, and then just see what happened. It's very difficult to actually discern what happened in what scenario, but it gives you a lot of ideas on what could be the problem. So I hope that I helped a bit. I gave you some hints. If you have other things, please let me know in the comments down below. I will really like to hear about other ways or other ideas. And here I think I just gave two extreme different ways to do it, and you might actually do both of them and then put the findings together. And so in my case, it was I can probably say I didn't do it without even understanding what I was doing. I went through a externalized spree of experiences because I went to travel for 1 year just to understand who the hell I was. And then I sort of realized, I don't really have to externalize myself that much, so I went to an introspective voyage, and then opened a Pandora box of stuff, because now you have things clear, you understand why you did the travel in the first place. So that was interesting. And but as I said, it's not that I know exactly who I am. I have a better understanding of it, and you never get. You might get there, but you might change. So, life keep moving us around. So I hope that you enjoy this talk. I know that it was a longer. I hope that you sort of get some ideas out of it, and if you did discover something that you would like to share or you feel comfortable sharing, just put them there and how you get there. And thanks so much for listening to me. And this was the last podcast of the year. I'm gonna try to do another video next. This is gonna be about the full year, so what happened in 2022. So what I did, something pretty cool, was I sort of noted all meaningful things that happened in 2022, and I'm gonna go through them and sort of talk about them and what could have been the consequences, the nice ways to look at it. Might be a very long video, so I'll try to crunch things as much as I can. Thanks so much for listening to me, and see you next time. Bye!